Hello, everybody. Are you wondering what are the latest and greatest trends in home decorations and what are the latest colors and everything? Well, I am really excited to bring you the expert in all of that area so that she can give us all the new updates. Hi, thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. It's great to have you. We are excited to learn all the latest from you in interior design. So please take it away.
Well, thank you, Roxanne. Thank you for having me. Uh, you want to get started with just overall trends that we're seeing?
Sure, that
Okay,
sounds
so for a long time, especially during COVID, we were seeing an influx of gray and white interiors, which at the time felt very fresh and clean and modern. And now it's starting to feel a little cold and repetitive and
yeah,
predictable.
yeah,
So a lot of the trends right now is really bringing back the warmth of a space, and that's through wood. And if you're going to use whites, make it a warmer white, something like an ivory that has a bit of a putty undertone, maybe
hmm,
a little bit gray, so it feels still fresh and contemporary, but not creamy yellow like we were used to seeing in the 80s. So a lot of texture is also coming back. So that could be woven textures. You'll see it in decoration and furniture, light fixtures and the lighting shades, carvings in wood. It just brings back that if we're going to use neutral color palette, it keeps the interest and the eye bouncing around. And natural and organic materials are also really big. I think for me at least, we spend 90% of our time indoors,
yeah.
which is somewhat unnatural to a human animal being. So the more natural, organic, environmental aspects we can bring back into our spaces, the better we're going to feel. So that's woods, stone, glass, metal, plaster walls, ceramics, and live plants, things that really connect us to our environment,
Right.
and natural lighting too. And we're still seeing a lot of curves. So that's a lot in furniture primarily. So curved tables and sofas and chairs that really feel comfortable and cozy, like a big hug. It's very nurturing
Yeah.
and soft. So we're going to see that throughout, and it's going to be continuing for a while.
So what about colors within kitchens and bathrooms? What colors do you see as the trend? Well, white kitchen was very popular for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Yeah.
we still on white kitchens, or have we moved away from white kitchens into another color or another set of
Yeah.
colors?
I think we're seeing a lot of balance coming back into a space.
Yeah.
So if anything is too white or too stark, it starts to feel medical and like we're in a psych ward. Sometimes. If you can make it a warm white, like an alabaster or an ivory, that'd be a nicer touch. And then also balancing it. So if it's too expensive to change out all of your cabinets, you can just swap out the counter and bring in some kind of a warm countertop or a colored. It could be black, it could be a taupe. There's a lot of beiges and taupes coming in, and changing your hardware to something black or gold adds some modernity and warmth to a space. And then thinking about your lighting too.
So Sarah, give us a little bit of a background about yourself and what do you do? How do you, what's your expertise exactly? How do you help, and who are your customers?
Okay, I've been in interior design and construction and project management for over 20 years. I focus in holistic interior design, which is really thinking about the big picture and how each part plays into the whole, whether that's how a client experiences the whole process or what it takes to get the design from start to finish in a cohesive manner, and how all of the pieces come together. So what I also love to do other than design is the construction concierge, which is being the guide throughout that process, because a lot of the remodeling can feel overwhelming and out of control. So I like to help people on all sides and be the liaison between the contractor and the client and the subs and the vendors, just to make sure we're all on the same page and that the goals are moving forward exactly how we imagined them to go and how we planned. So I can do that from selecting paint selections all the way throughout exterior and exterior. It can be material finishes for kitchen and bath remodels or all of the interior finishes. I do full construction plans. So if somebody wants to create an ADU or remodel a kitchen or bathroom or a whole house remodel, I can take care of the plans and get it ready for the contractor to bill out and then get a permit going. And then also, again, going through the construction phase all the way to the end.
Nice, nice. So this is actually you're the piece that is always missing in a construction project, where you actually come in and help to design, help to pick, and so now when you're doing that, are you basically like every step of the way? Are you sitting down with the homeowner to help them pick, or are you actually on the ground going to pick those for the contractor, for the homeowner? What does your services exactly look like?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think a lot of people go straight to the contractor first and say, oh, I want to redo my kitchen or my bath. And the contractor will say, okay, what do you want to do? I don't know. You tell me. How much is it going to cost? And he said, well, it depends on what you want to do, or she. So I think if we can take a step back and thoughtfully plan ahead of time to get all of the details in line, get everything set from start to finish, know what the materials are going to be, what you want to do, and then present that idea to the builder or the contractor so that they can give you a precise quote and not just give you an allowance that you may or may not go under and then be surprised about why it's so expensive. So I like to come in from the beginning, get to know the client, the project, the architectural style of the home and the neighborhood, and start creating a concept image just to see that we're all on the same page and we're going in the right direction. And then I'll come back with a design. So that could be all of the finished materials and lighting, space plan layouts, elevations, all of the plans. And then once those things are agreed upon, I can help them with the finishes. So usually going back to material selections. After the concept phase, I'll bring in samples of a couple of different options for flooring or countertop that I would think is best for that style and for the budget of the client. And then the client would have the choice to say, oh, I love this one the best, without being overwhelming. I think when we go online shopping, it's just museum fatigue. There's so many options and there is no right answer. There is, there's 100 different options. So it's nice for me to be able to come in with my eye and experience and say, this is probably what's going to be best for you. Here's the budget. Here's the item that's within your budget. However, if you love this, you might want to splurge a little bit over here, and then we can cut back and modify something over here. So that kind of balances out the project where you want to have your big wow moments and then be a little bit more modest in other times. And then, go ahead.
I've seen that with clients where they're like, okay, I know I'm doing a remodel, and I know I'm doing, the kitchen, and I'm doing the living room, and what am I doing now? Well, how am I blending the colors? What am I doing in terms of window coverings, and what furniture goes well with everything else? So that's where you come in, I would.
Yeah, and I think that may be where you start to. I mean, you see a lot of homes, and you'll walk through a home, and you'll say, that room is different. That doesn't make sense over there. And I think that's when some people have just thought about a room instead of the whole home. So
Right.
that's where we go back to the holistic thing, the cohesive design, and how does each room flow into the next? What are those repetitive elements that you see throughout that feel comfortable and like, oh, okay, I get what's going on. And it's just a more thoughtful approach. And
Mhm.
also, I think when people don't have a design up front, they're making decisions constantly throughout the project, and it gets overwhelming, and you just get tired
Mhm.
of making choices or having a contractor come back to you and say, okay, well, what base molding do you want now? And oh, what kind of a finish? And have you thought about this? So it's just taking the time ahead and nailing everything down. It
So,
goes back to your budget too. That way you know really what you're going to be working with.
so are you basically the package that comes with a contractor? Or are you coming in separate?
I The designer should come first.
Okay.
That way, when a contractor gets the project, they'll see the floor plans. They know exactly what their scope of work is going to be.
Mhm.
So you could say, oh, he might give you an allowance for tile, but if you want to do it in a herringbone design or something that's really specific, that's going to cost more. And that's something he didn't know at the time. So he's going to, or she is going to charge more at the back end. So the more information the contractor knows ahead of time, the better they're going to be at giving you a pretty consistent price.
But an accurate
And
quote.
it speeds it up too, because you'll have everything ready to go. They'll have the set of plans. The contractor will have the set of plans. Do any revisions together with me. Maybe they say, what are you doing over here? What's your intent over here? And this might be a problem because of the structure of this room. How
Mhm.
can we make this work? So we'll work together, get it laid out and agreed upon, and then it can be sent off for a permit. And then you can just get the ball rolling and start ordering materials before they get back ordered.
So I know that ADUs are very popular right now.
Yes.
ADUs or accessory dwelling units,
Yeah.
basically,
Yes.
uh, like an addition to a home that's separate from the home itself.
Yeah.
Is that too small of a project, or is that within the scope of the work that you do?
No, I have I'm really drawn to ADUs right now because everybody is all over it. Everyone's doing it, and I feel like there is a temptation with some builders to just turn them out.
Right.
And it's got one window in it, or it's a box and it's the same gray and white. So it pains me to go through a beautiful neighborhood. I mean, I'm in South Park right now, and I drive through and I see the tiny little bungalows that are thoughtfully designed with cute windows and beautiful roof, and then you see the more modern ones and it's just a stark box with no texture on the outside. So ADUs aren't new. We've been doing it forever so that we can get some income or to help people who, might be stepping into different housing options. So
Mm-hmm.
we can do it thoughtfully. I think it's a really wonderful opportunity.
So let me see if I can share and go through your website and see if you can give us some insights as to what we find here. So this is a really nice room.
Yeah. Yes. Do you want to go to projects?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a few different projects there. That top one that was a project that I worked on in Beverly Hills when I was living in LA. And they had torn down this old historic home and built this 11,000 square foot new build. So this is all brand new construction.
Uh-huh.
You'll see a lot of warm, natural, organic materials. I like to have it laid back, luxury, comfortable, a lot of indirect lighting, not a lot of use of can lights. I like to vary lights, and that's between light fixtures, which are kind of the jewelry of the home, the little accents that feel good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Wow. This is really, really cool. So this is where you're saying that other colors are coming in, where it's not just gray and white, but there's some other earth tones getting in there.
right. So
Okay.
if there is a space that is white and gray, the least you could do, the easiest you can do is add in elements of wood
Right. Right.
or any type of like live trees and accessories and balance the color schemes within those organic materials so that you have a blend of black and white and gray and beige, taupe, bronze, maybe a little sage green.
Hmm. So, which is exactly what I see that you have in here with all these different colors and gorgeous door. I really like the door.
Huge. It was big. And natural light was another play on this. You'll see how big the windows are, just so that it floods the house with as much natural light as possible.
Yeah.
That keeps us feeling our best. And I harp on bulb temperature a lot because with LEDs going in anywhere, nobody really knows what to pick. They just buy a bulb and they take it home and they think, oh, this is weird. This is very blue. My eyes are are stressed. Or
Right.
my kids won't go to bed because the lights are on full blast until 9 p.m. And to their brain, it feels like high noon. So bringing in a warmer temperature bulbs will really help our circadian rhythm and the way we feel.
All right. So let me go into.
You could try dark sky den. Yeah. So this is my own personal project. I bought an investment property in Julian,
Oh, nice. Okay.
and it was a fixer. So this was my opportunity to be on the other side of the table where I was designing, I had everything set in my mind, but once I got into it and realized I needed to allocate my budget to the structure or the electrical and more of the property, it made me really see what I could do with the design on a tighter budget. So this is where I used a warm shoji white from Benjamin Moore. So upstairs is all of the natural organic materials, and the darker scheme you'll see there is the studio below. So that was a flip on the color scheme. So I took the same colors of black, white, gray, and wood, and then just flipped it to a more masculine on the lower end, and
Nice.
used a lot of high-end furniture mixed with things I found on OfferUp
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or soft and hard textures. There's a lot of um, square metal and wood, and then I softened it with linen and woven textures.
I like these. These are pretty cool.
Yeah, they look like disco balls under the light. They really reflect a lot of the light. And that picture above is Heart Locks. So Julian, it's a gold mine town. So
Corky.
I was watching, what was that movie, Nala? It was about that woman that swam from Cuba up to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And she had a playlist going so she knew the time and how long everything took. And there was a Neil Young song, Heart of Gold. And I just went, oh, yes, Julian, of course. So I searched for these gold heart locks and I found a collection of 3 of them and put them up against the wall. And it's my little reminder and a reminder to guests about keeping a heart of gold. And I just got a new booking, and the guy's he's gonna propose to his girlfriend this month
Aww.
down there. So I'm excited.
So this door looks really interesting to me too.
Yes. So the person that owned this property, I think he owned it from 85 to the 90s or 2000. He did a lot of the build out. So he hand built that door.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, very cool. Okay, so this one is Dark Sky Den. So let me look at another one.
Okay, this one was a project for a newly divorced guy, and it was inside of a. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say it was a track home, but it kind of was a track home up in LA, and the way it was designed previously was very white and beige and very monochromatic, maybe the early days of modern farmhouse.
Mhm.
And he wanted something totally different. Like, and we repurposed the dining room. So he didn't need the dining room. He wanted to put a bar and a lounge in there. Or instead of having a family room and a living room, we made one room into a game room. And you see that a lot with the bigger homes, that you don't really need these two big rooms, a
Mhm.
formal room anymore. So how are we going to repurpose some of these spaces so that you can use them properly and it's not going to sit vacant the whole time?
Right. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so let's move on to a coastal one. So tell us more about this one.
Yes, this was a brand new construction. And again, these were a lot of the natural materials: dark walnut, limestone, and concrete. I really like the way that we used exterior of blending different materials, whether it's the white plaster set against wood, set against stone. So
Mhm.
you really have a variation of finishes and materials that keep it interesting and not so boxy and monochromatic.
Nice.
And really taking advantage of the indoor outdoor lifestyle. You know, we live in San Diego or in Southern California, so the awesome part is being able to enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so tell us about the browns in this kitchen.
Yes, so the browns are really adding some warmth and depth to the space. You know, the kitchens are a place that we all gather and hang out more than anything, no matter what the size. It could be a tiny little place and we're all cramming in there, noshing and talking. So the browns are nice too, because this was a couple of years ago, but we're seeing a lot more dark woods coming back,
Yeah,
natural woods right now without the sheen, more of a matte finish.
right, right. Very cool. All right. Excellent. Well, there's a wealth of knowledge and experience right here, and it's really really nice to see it. So thank you for joining us and for sharing your knowledge and your expertise with us. Is there anything, any last minute thoughts that you have for the audience that you want to share?
Uh, be authentic to you. I think we all try and just copy what somebody else is doing, another design is doing, but we all live in these unique spaces that are reflective of who we are, what our history was, and who we want to be and how we want to be in our wellness at home.
Mhm.
So really lean into that. Find and be instinctual. Think about your first instincts of when you see something you like, and then go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. And audience, if you were trying to get a hold of Sarah, there's Sarah's phone number. So if you were thinking of starting a project, the first stop is an interior designer such as Sarah, and you can reach her via her email or her phone number, or you can find her on her website. So you can reach out to her. And if you are thinking of buying or selling anywhere in the U.S., there's my information, and you can call me at my number, or you can also email me at my email address. I like to hang out on Instagram, so if you see this on Instagram, please give me a follow, or on Facebook. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, we also really appreciate it if you can give us a thumbs up. We come up with these programs once a week, and if you give us a follow, you'll know when our latest video is coming out. And Thank you very much for joining us. Sarah, thank you for joining us. And you guys have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Roxanne.